look around, having an outdoor classroom at our school allows us to step outside of our own comfort zones, what we're used to, a controlled environment. And that's really hard for many teachers. I acknowledge that. It was hard for me at first. But when I realized that as soon as we were all outside, that we were kind of equalized, we were on the same plane, we're all subject to the same weather. You know, we all have our fears of things, and there's something just amazing to me about how people come together and trust each other, develop a different kind of bond when they're outside than when they're in the classroom.
Sometimes the indoor four walls and a ceiling can be a little boring. I think if you can get kids outside, they can touch the environment, they can experience the breeze, the sun on their face. If it's rain or there's fog in the morning, you know, there's an experience, it's tactile.
It's important for people to understand their connection to nature, to understand how their lives spring from nature, and hopefully when people do have that perspective, they will learn better how to take care of nature, but at the same time have richer lives.
Everybody should understand how not being outside is negatively impacting our children and what we can do to help it, and not to look at an outside learning classroom as being something that's unattainable, but this class makes it seem very, very attainable, something that, you know, we need to work at as a community, and it can't just be one person. I know that the kids are just excited to go outside. They have a renewed focus that I typically see after recess, or and they're willing to go outside and to try things. They're more relaxed because it is such a different learning environment. They're not as held back by what they think of as school and learning.
Planning an outdoor classroom, I thought, would take a whole lot of expertise, and it does, but it also takes knowing the right people, and it takes asking the right questions. You don't have to assume that you have the answers. You don't, as a matter of fact, you're a little bit at a disadvantage from what I gathered from the class if you go into it claiming it as your project instead of just posing the questions, you know, how could we use this in our school?
Then the teachers become very knowledgeable, so if they're not actually the designers and then they come talk to somebody like myself or another landscape architect, they can tell us exactly what they want. It's not just a designer coming up with a groovy design and saying, you know, look at all this textural stuff, look at all this fancy. That has no meaning. It may look aesthetically pleasing, but they now have the verbiage to talk to the professionals to get what they want out of that particular design.
One of my most rewarding moments of the week was that aha moment to say, I can do this and I can get people excited, and this is something that it's well beyond what I even pictured as an outside classroom. It doesn't have to just be math and science. It can encompass all learning in a school and all grades. I was excited about participating in this class because I wanted to be able to bring the knowledge back to my school and back to the people I worked with to get them excited and to learn the value of having children outside as well.
Everybody that we had come speak, they were just so eager to share their knowledge, and that's something I've learned about outdoor education. You will never see a more engaging group of people because they're passionate. They're passionate about what they're doing.
I was struck right at the very beginning about how the teachers involved in the Institute were really engaged in the material. I could see the heads nodding up and down. I could see the little flickers of smiles across the face. And it gave me that reassuring sense that I was on the same wavelength with them, or at least we were both pointed in the same direction in terms of our interests.
I got into this teaching program because I wanted to relay the value of my particular profession. The better the teachers or the better the students are, the better they're going to design, and that shows the public in general the worth of the profession and how it can benefit them.